Greetings, Vooters. Viewer just asked me, and I'm here recording. He just asked me to give my thoughts on Dave Smith in regards to debating Larken Rose on the effectiveness of political activism. So I'm here recording. Let's do this.
Okay. Would you debate Larken Rose on the usefulness of going through the political system to achieve liberty? I guess. Not particularly interested in doing that. Not like a particular shot at anyone, but like I hate like the debates about like, well, here's libertarianism 101, anarcho-capitalism 101, non-aggression principle, and then just we can't ever apply that to the real world. You know, there's like
that's not Larken's position. If anything, he wouldn't even say that. He's not 100% against political activism. There's tons of videos on my channel where I've talked to Larken about this exact thing. There was a video I did when I did my Not Governor campaign in the Libertarian Party where I talked to Larken and talked through what I was doing and heard his responses. And I mean, if there is a person, I guess I'm about as close as a person has ever gotten to actually being endorsed by Larken for as a political candidate. So I'm pretty familiar with Larken's positions, and I'm not sure Dave knows what they are. Let's see.
I don't find it interesting. I mean, I guess I would do it, but it's honestly to me, I think just like an easy, and it would just be an easy win. I don't know. There's like I don't think any of those arguments are ever impressive. That we can't possibly, use the political system at all because then we're endorsing it.
That's definitely not Larken's position. And I know this because I've talked to him at length about it on camera and off camera. It's not that we can't use the political system at all. It's that a couple things, right? Like, number one, most of the ways to use the political system do conflict with libertarian principle. Things like holding office, cashing the paychecks, and voting on things that may or may not control people to different compromising degrees, things like that. Those are conflicts. But what I tried to do was I tried to see if it was even possible to run what I called a NAP compliant campaign, which means a campaign that didn't conflict in any way with libertarian principle, all the way up to and including if I won, I wouldn't cash a paycheck. I would never vote on anything that even in any way attempted to increase government power or government control or violations of people's rights in any way. Larken said, "Hey, Patrick, you're definitely wasting your time. That you will definitely never get elected, and those things you're trying to do will definitely never work. But I mean, hey, knock yourself out." Basically. So that's different than what Dave just said. What was the other thing?
Any of those arguments are ever impressive. That we can't possibly, use the political system at all because then we're endorsing it. Like It's like, okay.
Endorsing is not, this is probably, and look, I'm speaking for Larken. He can defend himself. He's got tons of videos you can go watch if you want his opinion. Or, if you want, I can invite him on. Hell, hey, I'm happy to host this debate if Dave wants to have it. I'm sure I'll reach out to Larken after this and see. But it's not so much endorsing the government would not be the argument in play. The argument would be sort of a tacit validation of the process as a means to control people or as a means to achieve more liberty. And here's why. So the normies out there in the world, the people that are not libertarian or people that are on their way to understanding liberty, even in the Libertarian Party, would see a candidate running as a libertarian, as a liberty-loving voluntarist, for example, and they would see that person standing on debate stages and standing behind podiums, running for office in the Libertarian Party, playing the stupid political games, and those people would assume, because this is what everyone's indoctrinated with since birth, that People running in political campaigns are trying to get people to vote for them so that they can gain power by winning elections and getting into office to use the political system to do whatever they supposedly promise they're going to do. That's people's base expectation about how this stuff works. And so if you're standing behind one of those podiums on one of those debate stages, running and trying to get people to endorse you as a candidate for blah, 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 as a libertarian, these normies are going to assume that you, as a libertarian, think that that's a valid way to get them more liberty, tacitly, because that's just the norm. That's what people think. And that's bad. That sends an unlibertarian message, 100%. I don't even think you can argue against that. And that's why one of Larken's, I don't want to say instructions, but recommendations to me, and something that I was very vocal about when I was running my campaign, was specifically that. I was very loud in constantly, repeatedly saying to people, voting is not how you get liberty. This system is not how you achieve freedom. Don't vote for me trying to get me into power so that I can get you some freedom and bring home the freedom bacon or whatever. That's not how this works. That doesn't work. That's not valid. It's invalid. You have the right to be free in spite of this system. And I constantly, repeatedly said things like, look, if you vote for me, do it only for the purpose of getting me behind a larger podium so that I can tell people exactly that even louder, that this is not how you achieve freedom. This is an invalid, immoral system of control. And that's pretty much the only way to really counteract that tacit, not endorsement, but like just tacit validation of the system that comes with participating in that garbage fire that is politics. Not only that, but the Libertarian Party is not wholly unique in that it's like immune to political gamesmanship. Most people still get sucked into the game, into the competition of it all, into the politics of it all, into the drama of one candidate over another. There's so much drama. Like the drama to efficaciousness towards liberty in the Libertarian Party, the ratio of drama to efficaciousness is just wild, man. Like they get nothing done and they fight all the time about it. So anyway, let's see if he's got anything else.
Well, here in real life, there is a political system. And so, do you want to use every tool at your disposal to try to move closer toward your ideal? Or do you want to just say, no, I have my ideal? And
that's definitely not Larken's position. I think I've already described why. He doesn't, his position is not that you cannot go and do that, because there are ways to do that are NAP compliant, for example. So this is a straw man. This is not Larken's position.
Anyone who does anything to move us closer to there who's not being 100%.
He would tell you that it is the worst tool in the box. By worst, I mean the least effective tool. These candidates are not going to win. They're not going to bring home the Liberty Bacon. It's just not going to happen. Except at the very, very local level. That's the only area where they've had a tiny amount of success is in the very local stuff, where the people are able to get into positions of local power and make small changes. But outside of that, yeah. But there's a difference between saying, don't do it at all, and, hey, that's a waste of time. That's not going to work.
Compromising. It's like I'm an ANCAP. I'm not a minarchist. But the idea that and the argument that minarchy leads to a bigger government is absolutely true. Minarchy is also preferable to a bigger government.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I was just thinking? I'm happy that the Mises Caucus, such that it is, took over the Libertarian Party. The messaging out of the LP, especially on Twitter lately, has been golden. For the first time since I've been paying attention to the party, the messaging coming out of it has been actually libertarian. And so, if nothing else, that's awesome. Good for them. Great for them. That's good news. I'm happy. The Mises Caucus still plays politics just like all the rest, though. Don't get it twisted. Don't be fooled. But yeah, good. But what I'm thinking is that this is good. This is a good test. the Mises people are in as much control as they could possibly be of the LP. This is a great test case. Let's now watch over the next 2 years and see what they're able to achieve, how much Liberty bacon they're able to bring home, or if, in fact, Larken's right. I think the proof is going to be literally in the pudding.
Government doesn't, it's not all the same, you know? Like, it's it might all be like as Hoppe says, the nature of the state relies on aggressive violence. However, some use it a lot more than others, you know? If you had to go live like the average person in Sweden or North Korea tomorrow, you wouldn't just be like, well, they both have governments, so I'm an anarchist, I don't want to live in either, send me wherever.
That's very true.
Like, dear God, Sweden.
And none of this has to do with Larken, but that's very true.
But I'd be open to the debate, I guess, if someone wanted to try to set it up, go for it. All right.
I'll reach out to Larken right now. Here we go. Hope you enjoyed this.